Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
My dad works in B2B marketing. He came by my school for career day and said he was a big ROAS man. Then he told everyone how much he loved calculating his return on ad spend. My friends still laugh at me to this day.
Not everyone gets B2B, but with LinkedIn, you'll be able to reach people who do. Get a $100 credit on your next ad campaign. Go to linkedin.com/campaign to claim your credit. That's linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply. LinkedIn, the place to be, to be.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold! Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
Welcome to Book Talk for Book Talk, a literary podcast where we've been deep diving into your favorite novels. This is Jack.
And I'm Amy. And our listeners love to share their thoughts and theories via email and voicemail, so we're sharing them via our weekly mini episodes.
The views expressed by the hosts and listeners are entirely their own and in no way represent the thoughts or intentions of the original author. This podcast is a discussion shared to spark thought and conversation on the characters and themes of this novel.
Spoilers may be discussed with or without warning. Explicit language, as well as themes of sex, violence, abuse, death, and depression, will recur throughout this podcast. Listener discretion is advised.
Ryan Mairs, also known as Mairsy, quickly gained a fanatic following on TikTok for his voice. Book Talk quickly stepped in, and since then, Ryan has delivered some of ACOTAR Talk's favorite audio clips.
I actually get this one quite a lot. Hello, Feyre, darling. We'll try my best to do it justice again. Be careful how you speak to my high lady.
When Ryan isn't delivering our favorite ACOTAR lines, he's also a mental health advocate, as well as an aspiring DJ. We are thrilled to have Ryan join the show today. Welcome, Ryan.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I will say it is strange because you're in your room, obviously, but that's where you record your TikToks.
Yeah.
So that's also weird because it's like watching a TikTok, but in live.
In live, yes. I know that people say this is where the magic happens. The TikTok magic.
We're privileged.
We all have the ring light.
Yeah.
That's how you know you're in TikTok, if you have a ring light.
And the LEDs,
or any portable light, yeah.
Yeah, ours is a clippable
stereotype.
light. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I've hit every stereotype now.
You know what? You have to lean in. That's the only way to find success is to lean in to the stereotype.
Is it ever hard for you? This is not part of the questions, but now I'm just chit-chatting. Do you ever tell people like, yeah, I'm a TikToker, or do you just own it, be like, yeah, I'm a TikToker?
Do you know what? I'm still adjusting. Because especially the TikToks, the popular TikToks are niche. But yeah, my friends kind of dig it. So like even like my male friends that I thought were gonna like rip me and take the mick a bit, they love it more. They egg me on every day to do more. So that's quite nice. But it's the awkward ones are when people don't know I do it and I come up on their algorithm.
Oh.
So I get that quite a bit, which is funny.
Yeah, but then you can turn it on them and be like, what kind of things are you watching?
Yeah, exactly. It's the algorithm for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever I tell people, I always have to have a conversation of like, so I have a podcast, but like we actually do well, and I feel like I have to justify it. But like our numbers are are good. It's, yeah. But that's my own insecurity. So we don't have to go into anymore. But now we have the real questions. So Amy, take it away.
Back in December, you stitched a video discussing sweet, innocent moments in life, and it went viral with women commenting on your voice. Was this something that was totally surprising for you, or have there been comments like that before?
Absolutely complete surprise.
Oh.
I've had like a couple of comments from my like guy mates who are like about my voice, but like no one's ever like super publicly mentioned it to me really. And then I think just the perfect storm of a mainly American audience and a British accent, and it just seemed to.
As Amy and I hang our heads in shame, like, all right,
you're not wrong.
It was really it was really strange. Like, I'm kind of happy with the balance at the moment. Like, there's been a lot of the popular videos with Akatar, but also that one was a bit of my actual like personality and just a bit of a silly video. But yeah, definitely all brand new to me. And then now people are seeing the popularity. Now they're mentioning it to me more. I'm like, why didn't you tell me this months ago? Like, I could have done this.
I could have used the boost to my self-esteem. Like, don't
literally.
hold out.
I love that it's like your guy friends though who initially told you, being like, hey man, you got a good voice. Like that's the support amongst friends that we need more.
Yeah, that's the male friendship that should be, epitomized in movies and media.
It was. I was expecting almost to get a bit bullied for it, because some of those videos on the Akatar ones are quite intimate and not stuff I'm used to sharing publicly, but to see them blowing up.
There's definitely one that you did recently, and it was like the Cassian headboard one, and even I was like, gasped, that was out loud. That was, good job. But it was, there's more lines that people can ask you. So brace your, I'm sure they've already asked, so you've already seen them all.
Yes, there's a lot.
There's a lot.
That's the other crazy one, is the requests. It's like, I love it. It's just really interesting. Like, it's just a completely new community to me. I didn't know it was really a thing that I've been like exposed to. But definitely feeling it now. So
there's like the book talk community, and then there's the Akatar community, and eventually like the book talk community stepped in, but particularly Akatar fans are the ones who I feel like have dominated the comments whenever I personally scroll through them. When did you realize that Akatar fans, and I love you guys, are their own beasts, but we are our own beasts? Just like, I want our listeners to know we're the good beasts.
One of the bigger moments was when basically I received like a piece of fan art, and this was like quite early in still.
Of you? Like someone drew you?
They photoshopped me, because obviously with Akatar and kind of fantasy and mystical characters, a particular kind of, it's such a weird thing to say, a fan, in commas, which is just surreal. She has like a thing where she likes to Photoshop people onto like these mystical characters, and she sent a really lovely message on Instagram and explained why she does it, and just showed her support to me. And then she sent me a picture of me photoshopped as a centaur, which I was literally at my friend's bar having a beer when I saw the message, and I kind of like was like, wow, this is different. I've not had this before. This is and then I showed my housemates, and they were like, this is the best thing I've ever seen. Like in shock. They put it as their phone screensaver, and then they also, for my birthday, they got it framed, and it legitimately sits in my living room. So whenever we have people come over, there's me as a fantasy character
that is
in a glass photo frame.
Your friends have the best sense of humor. That's amazing.
Yeah. So I was like, it was really nice. And what else happened? I guess when I started getting added, people were like doing duets or stitches of my videos with their reactions. That was quite big. But also people taking the clips of my voice and then adding it to their own like animations and things. And
oh yeah, I've seen a lot of those.
That was also like, okay, Akatar's different. Like, this is going to be interesting.
None of our listeners have drawn us. What the hell?
We don't have deep, gravelly British accents. Like that's the problem.
I tell them all the time that they need to objectify us more, and they really don't. Like, I constantly see, like, you get drawings of you. We get comments of, that's your face?
What?
And they just leave it at that.
Yeah. Like, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing?
No context.
No context. And
Yeah.
we get that a couple times a week where it's like, oh, so that's your face, and then
silence,
never to respond again.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's horrible with the internet. Like, even with some of the comments, like, you can't gauge the context, or so I can definitely appreciate that.
Oh, I spin it to a positive every time.
You have to in this world.
And then I feed for the compliments every time.
Yeah.
Digital creator life.
Right?
Yeah.
It can be a rabbit hole.
So what I love about your videos, despite people taking it and running with it basically every time, is that you always admit you haven't read the books, which I think for me almost makes it more fun.
Yeah.
I can't just like, you're just like, okay, I'll say something. So what from all that you've gathered have you pieced together about this series? And do you have any ideas what it's about?
So I've just bought the books, actually.
Oh, look, there
Congrats.
They are. Yeah, the pressure was on. Because some of the kind of community were loving that I didn't know, and then some were like, no, you have to understand it because you don't know the character. And it was like, okay, shit. But yeah, I'm kind of slowly getting there. It's still a bit raw, obviously. I know, and I think the thing that confused me a bit was like people were like, no, he's Rhysand, no, he's Cassian, no, he's like
Asriel.
Decide which character.
Yeah,
Asriel as well.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like 3 of the main characters, and they were like picking and choosing which one I was more, and I was like, I don't know who these are.
You can't go wrong with any of them. So
no.
Yeah, so I know it's very much like a bit of it's not really a love, is it a love triangle? I'm gonna get shot after this.
I don't know if I want to spoil anything.
I don't want to spoil it.
Yeah, because I've got a lot of reading ahead of me.
You're going to be really confused while you read the first book.
Mm-hmm.
Just power through to the second book.
Yeah, the second book is where it all
starts to make sense.
Gets like, ooh, things have changed.
I personally love the first book, but most of the fandom sleeps on the first book. And that's just the way it is, and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we slept on the first book. It's not until we had to do 10. We didn't have to do anything, but we chose to do 10 episodes of a literary analysis dedicated to the first book. So
big commitment. I like that.
We definitely learned to love it.
I should listen to those episodes.
Maybe after you've read the series.
Oh yeah, spoilers.
I was about to call us boring.
We're not boring.
No, I prefer, like, as I think I shared with you guys, I don't usually read like fiction. And I think this is like a good little door opener for me to kind of actually like immerse myself in a bit of a different world, because the stuff I usually read is very much this world here and now, whereas actually to like open the imagination up a bit. More
autobiographical or historical, or
more like psychology, self-help, things like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll actually be good to and to see the passion of like people, and like the way it can open up like how you think about things with like the fantasy side of things is really cool, I think. So
yeah.
The character piece it's kind of hard to understand like personalities and stuff when you're going off of just people's comments and trying to get them to give me a bit of a steer, but everyone's got their own interpretation.
And that somehow you managed to deliver every single one. Genuinely. Like, it's...
I was going to say, I think your background in psychology and self-help is going to give you an interesting perspective as you read these books, because if you read past the surface level of what's happening, you're going to see a lot of childhood trauma and PTSD, and how does that impact the character choices as they progress throughout the novels, which has been a big topic of conversation for us in our podcast. So I think you might have fun.
Yeah, like the first book, I'd say, I mean, if you want to look more into it, there's a lot of how growing up with food insecurity impacts your relationship, not just with food, but with people around you, and how they control food with you. So that's like one thing we talk a lot about is like food is power, and how does someone who has a bunch of food is now feeding someone who is normally starved. What kind of messed up relationship does that then give? And there's a lot of other parts to it. But yeah, I'd say, and then the second book, you have a lot more PTSD and everything going on. But yeah, there's layers. Whatever. That's the beauty of this book, of these series, is that you can go as deep or as shallow as you want.
Yeah, I can definitely, that'd be exciting.
Yeah.
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because you know I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. Like, my entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Move your career further, faster in just 2 days with a Harvard Professional and Executive Development Program. Advance your leadership skills, craft smarter business strategies, build your network, and transform how you work and think to keep your career moving forward. You'll earn a certificate and can add Harvard to your resume with Harvard Professional and Executive Development. Learn more at professional.dce.harvard.edu/Spotify.
As much as we love the book talk side of you, you're also a mental health advocate. What inspired you to use TikTok as your advocacy medium, and how did you get started?
Yeah, so it was again I've always been an advocate on mainly Instagram and other social media platforms.
Mm-hmm.
And to be honest, TikTok wasn't really going to be part of that. I kind of knew it would be a good platform, but initially it was just meant to be a bit of I like to consider myself a creative, and I like to be a bit playful. And, you'll see before the voice videos, a lot of them were just silly videos about dating and some on mental health and just some about life. So yeah, it was never really initially part of the plan. But then as the audience grew, I was like, okay, sweet, I finally got another additional platform, a different audience to reach. And it's a different type of content, which I enjoy making. So I know I need to add a little bit more of the mental health stuff to the TikTok pieces, but it's definitely not going unnoticed. Thankfully you guys saw that stuff too. But yeah, I've had a few nice messages of people that have kind of come across from TikTok to my Instagram, seen what I'm doing with my men's mental health network and just some of the work I'm doing. And then it's like, oh shit, I didn't know you did this stuff as well. And it's like, yeah, it's trying to build a bit of a kind of balance of the two platforms and different styles of content. But yeah, it was again a bit of a happy accident.
Yeah, I definitely, in the initial creep through, of course, when it's like, oh, this person's getting a lot of traction. What's going on? That was one of the first things I noticed, which I very much appreciate. I don't think that people mental health is not talked about enough, and there's too many stereotypes. I'm bipolar. There's so many stereotypes of that and what it looks like. And then you also just don't get enough men talking about it too, which that's how I feel like, but I don't know if that's how everyone perceives it, but I feel like there aren't enough men talking about mental health. And so when I saw that was a big part of your platform, that was definitely a thank you, God. Yes. Thank you for doing that.
Jack and I often reference going to therapy in our podcast and why these characters need therapy. But yeah, I don't see people in my own life, men in my own life, talking about these things or going to therapy, and they can benefit just as it feels very much right now like a female thing, but it's a universal thing. It just happens that it's not as widely talked about.
Yeah, it's it's very I was actually talking to my friends about this the other day, because in my kind of because I kind of surround myself with men that talk about it, and like built this little bit of a community, and like obviously with social media and algorithms, a lot of the content I get fed is a lot around that. So I feel like in my head, maybe loads of people are talking about it, but you're right. Like actually a lot of men still aren't, their algorithms or whatever they're getting fed from, news outlets or whatever they're looking into isn't often about that. And a lot of it can be quite toxic. But yeah, it's just like I want to work on keep educating people. It's absolutely fine. Like I say, I've been in therapy. I'm also bipolar. I'm very open about it and vulnerable about it. I have been for years. I've got my men's mental health network, Gents Who Vent, that we got 50 men from all over the world in a WhatsApp group. And whenever we're going through a tough time or need advice on something, we just chat on there. And it is very kind of casual, and it can be, but I think it's just how we can just change that narrative and maybe some of the language and even metaphors for men to kind of understand it. If we change the script of therapy, that sounds a bit, I'm not sick, or I don't need that. It's like, well, actually, if you looked at it as if like, gym or personal training, and you saw it as it's like a PT for your brain, then I'm sure it'd be a lot more attractive.
I like that, PT for your brain. I totally understand what it's like to have a community of like friends that you're all vocal about it. Like, we're all in therapy. We're all on medication. Like that's the LA of it. But then my family, they're from Chile. My mom moved to America when she was really little, and we're Hispanic. And I was probably one of the first ones who was a lot more vocal about going to therapy. And my grandma at one point, she was like, years later, I'm like, so yeah, I have therapy. She's like, you're still doing that? I thought you were done. And it's like, no, that's not. Well, she's dead now. So, but it's funny. She would have liked that. Love you, Grandma. But yeah, so it's definitely a jarring separation of like a good community, and then I don't want to call it the real world, but just like a community, a different type of community of people who don't know how to ask for help. Yeah,
it is definitely, I think, because I've been doing it since, I think I started doing it, like advocating properly and publicly since like 2017. But I think now it's got to a stage where I'm so publicly like own it that it's like, I think people are a bit like taken aback by how open I am. Sometimes maybe too open, but like now I'm like covered in, literally most of my tattoos are like mental health related, so like I can't really hide it. And it's like, if people notice the tattoos, then it's always a conversation starter. So but the fact that like, if someone's first engagement with me could like, sometimes it can be a bit intense, but like, if people notice a tattoo and they talk about it, then it's usually part of a casual conversation around that. And it's, yeah, like some people it could be intense, but to some people it just changes the different perspective on it. So, and maybe a casual conversation is what they needed to start with their own journey. Yeah. So,
by the way, I love your Gents That Vent group chat idea.
Gents Who Vent, yeah.
Yeah, Gents Who Vent. I think that's great. I love rhymes, so it's fantastic.
As we said, creative writing majors, we love to rhyme.
Yeah, if I'm getting a tick from creative writing majors, I'm like, hell yeah. Thank you so much.
It's catchy. So in the ACOTAR series, as we kind of alluded to previously, there's a lot of work around mental health, and especially the male characters. They struggle a lot with their own mental health, and I don't know that that's always appreciated as much by the community. Do you feel like in the real world something similar is taking place, that society doesn't grant men the space to open up about their mental health?
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't think the space is necessarily the issue at times. I think it's the like reception, I guess, or like how it's perceived. I think there's definitely like the space to do it. I think a lot of men are still kind of, and including myself, we're like trying to, it's like everything, the world is so big and there's so many different things going on, and kind of, I know this book's very like relationship heavy in terms of, as I said, I don't know the books, but I can imagine there's probably a lot of mental health battles around like insecurity and kind of jealousy and kind of, I've definitely been exploring issues myself with like relationships with like attachment styles and that insecurity myself. So I feel like, but I don't think we necessarily, men, because we're not so open with kind of like sensitivity or those kind of things, we don't actually know that that's like a mental health potential issue or barrier. You know, I think when we're kind of jealous and insecure, it's always usually both sexes are quite good at when there's like an issue with the opposite partner. It's usually like, oh, boys are crazy, or like, oh, women are crazy, but it's never like an internal look inside of actually like, well, why are you reacting to this way, or things like that. But space, I think we're getting there. I think I'm definitely starting to see a lot more public podcasts and like platforms of people realizing that it's okay. But I think just sometimes the perception on the topics and kind of things like, I know I see a lot of toxic shit around on the internet, and like I say, once that kind of gets fixated on by a certain amount of people, it can be quite damaging. So it's a tricky balance.
You know, I like how you're saying that it's not so much a space, like there is a space, it's the reception. And I think women have a lot to do with that as well. And just being more open to vulnerability and emotions in general from men. I still see a lot of toxicity from women and what they quote unquote expect from men. And like for me, when I'm dating, I'm always like, when was the last time you cried? And that's like a good red flag warning for me if it's just like, well, it's been about 15 years. And that's one of those where it's like, oh, okay, so maybe I should look more into that. Maybe that's a thing. So versus, and I know there's some women who are just like, no, I don't want to see a guy cry. I'm like, I'm sorry, you would prefer it all pent up inside and nothing actually happening and processing. So it's, you know, listeners are 95% female audience. Do your part too.
It's a vicious cycle, isn't it? Because you know, I definitely understand that from a woman's perspective as well. That they want, you know, they want masculinity, they want protection, and kind of all that stuff. And like, but then I've seen cases where like when a man is like vulnerable and sensitive and like talks about his feelings and cries or whatever, you know, they're like, oh no, don't like this. I need like a man's man. And then it turns out that the man's men or whatever they want are the ones that end up hurting them the most because they're not as in tune with their.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like
bullshit.
Yeah, I think true feminism also gives space for men to be in touch with a more vulnerable, what society views as a feminine side, right? It's not feminine but society describes the emotions, the insecurities, the jealousy. That's a feminine trait. It is not a male trait.
Which we don't agree with that at all. That's like a human. Yeah.
I don't agree with it. It's a human experience. And I think true feminism accepts that.
Yeah.
We all have this universal experience.
Yeah. We want equality. Well, that includes emotional equality too. And we have to allow that as well. I'm like, we're lecturing our listeners right now real hard. So I just want everyone to go look in the mirror tonight.
You know what? We regularly lecture our 3% male listeners who are probably mostly
my exes
or gay.
Yeah.
So it's time for the tables to turn.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, let's lecture the 95%.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. With the price of just about everything going up during inflation, we thought we'd bring our prices down. So to help us, we brought in a reverse auctioneer, which is apparently a thing.
Mint Mobile Unlimited Premium Wireless. How to get 30, 30, bit to get 30, bit to get 20, 20, 20, bit to get 20, 20, bit to get 15, 15, 15, 15, just $15 a month? Sold!
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See detail.
You teased out on your channel that you have some exciting things in the works. Anything that you can share with us at all?
Yeah. So there's a few interesting bits. I keep getting reached out to by like authors, to like up and coming authors, to like potentially start narrating.
Oh, that's exciting.
This one, yeah, that's really cool. But I need to. I've never done it before, so I'm just doing my research. Like I'm also, because I'm acclimatizing, I'm pretty bad at replying and keeping up. So
it's hard.
So hard.
We struggle too.
And then I've done a few voiceover bits for a member of the Book Talk community for some like animations. So she's about to drop some animation clips on her pages, which are quite cool. They were fun to do,
nice.
And that's a bit more it's still very much like Rhysand, but then there's also, I did a few clips where the Scottish accent was involved.
Okay.
Because I believe that was like the original idea of the character, maybe. Maybe not. It's not Rhysand, it's someone else. There's a different character, but there was a Scottish accent, basically.
So you have the book in front of you, right? A Court of Thorns and Roses. Yeah. If we open to page, I don't know, it's like it's the map. It's like the very beginning. Yeah. Let us know if that looks like anything to you.
It's going to look like Scotland, isn't it?
The outline.
Oh, yeah.
It's the UK.
Yeah.
It looks like the UK.
So that's why everyone was like, oh, the British accent, yeah.
Yeah. And then Ireland is off to the side, aka Highburn.
Nice. Oh, so there's definitely range for accents in the characters.
Yeah. And so since Rhys, who's part of the Night Court, is up north, people if you want it, like, some of the people are like, then he has to be Scottish. But
yeah. So I got to play around a bit like that.
People will accept anything.
What else is going on? There's some conversations going on with a couple of apps. I'm not gonna tease anymore on those.
No. Yeah, that's fair.
I set up a Cameo.
Oh, so if anyone wants to get personal direct quotes from you and a video, so it's not even a quote, they get the whole package.
And I'm also considering, like, I want to try and set up like a way where I can read the actual books to people, but not like, I don't want to fuck over Sarah, for example, with any copyright stuff. So I need to figure out a way to navigate that.
She does a lot of licensing. So, and I know a lot of people, I don't want to say they're easy to get, but it feels like everyone has them.
Yeah. A lot of people who do fan art get their stuff licensed. So it certainly seems possible.
But it's definitely, and it's just crazy that it's all, like I say, a brand new world with getting to know the characters in the books. But this has only happened in the last, like, when I say it's blown up, it literally is, I've only been doing it since like January.
It's crazy.
You're one of the, like, all of a sudden I've noticed, like, all these guys on TikTok are trying to hop on this book talk trend. And like, there's this one workout guy that's suddenly leaning against doors and he's like, hey, book talk, this is for you. And I'm just like, you're not part of our community, sir. We did not adopt you. All right. Like, book talk goes and plucks them. Yeah, we choose. You don't present yourself to us.
Yeah, it's I keep there's like 2 or 3 names that kind of keep, like, in terms of like me and a couple of others. Like, obviously there's a guy called Cavan, who's like the big dog. I call him the big dog because he just seems to be like everywhere. Everyone keeps tagging me in his voice, being like, "This is Mairs." I'm like, "No, it's not. This is Cavan." So I need to. It'd be sick. Like, he's got like 500,000 followers or something. But like, one day, if I kind of keep blowing up, to do like a sneaky collab for Book Talk would be fun.
You guys can easily have, like, so the 3 main thirst traps of men in the book are Rhys or Rhysand, Cassian, and Azriel. So you can definitely easily do a conversation between the, any of these characters. Or as we call one of them, Daddy Azzy. So if you get comments on your thing saying Daddy Azzy, that's like from the podcast. So
I love that. Who could be a third voice actor we potentially collabed with?
I don't know. Like, you have to have a certain amount of confidence to read those. Yeah. I'm blushing thinking about it. I can barely read our own script. And like, it's so hard. But yeah, you have to have that confidence. But it's like hard to find that like same swagger.
Yeah. I think that was what my male mates that kind of have been bigging it up, I think they appreciate it more because of like the confidence of doing something so like vulnerable. But I think that's where the benefit of like having awkward mental health conversations benefits. Like, yeah, these are like slightly more like sexual or just like intimate or just different vibe. But like, there's a bit of a weird transfer there where probably it's a bit more easier for me than a lot of people.
Yeah, that makes absolute sense though. I get it.
Still, I can't really watch the videos back too often. I kind of make back shudder a bit of, like, in my eyes, I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm so cringe. But then you read the comments and you're like, okay, some people don't think it's cringe.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah,
some
like,
people just eat it.
Like, just straight up looking at the camera and being like, put your hands on the headboard. I don't,
with a ring light.
It's
staring into my own eyes.
With the ring light.
I'm literally staring into my own face.
I always appreciate your setups for the quote, because it's just like, I don't know, like you're taking it seriously, but you're not taking it too seriously. So those moments are fun. And I always see like people, like one of the comments we were tagged in was like, this is basically Cassian personality and everything. So that's always a compliment because he's the only one who has like the
emotional intelligence.
Yeah, actually, yeah. He's the only one who is like emotionally intelligent, nice guy on the entire like in the book series. So he's the one to strive to be.
Goals. Well, thank you. Yeah, it's I wanted to always like, 'cause I see a lot of the people like that do them, and I know it can come across really serious, but you know, at the end of the day, as I say, I joined TikTok to kind of have my own creative element to it and showcase my personality and a bit of humor to it. So I always kind of knew that I wanted to do that. And I guess in some ways it benefits it because people get unintentionally, but it's kind of working that way of they get reeled into the silliness. And then usually the transition of the actual scene is what is the bit of the shock. And then it's like, okay, it's like a bit of a balance in each video. So I think I'll try and stick that.
You do it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a great formula.
Keep your personality genuinely. It like I don't know why this like the rage I have for these like random men leaning against door frames now that just like
it's trying to be super cool.
Yeah, it's it's like you're not cool, but you're cool. You are, Ryan. They're not.
Thank you. I'm blushing again. I'm so bad at compliments.
Oh, we can switch it. Would you like this to turn into a roast? We can no.
That happens in my lives.
We're good at that too.
Just say the word and we can go right to it. Be the first interview of its kind where we just bully who we have on.
So before we wrap up, we have a special request, which you can of course deny because everybody has agency.
Sorry.
Would you like to deliver an ACOTAR quote for us?
Let's do it. I usually, you know what, the videos that you see, like they take a few takes, so we'll run it off the wall.
Have you done Be Careful How Do You Speak to My High Lady? I thought you had, and I cannot find it on your page.
Yeah.
That's the one where I commented Daddy Azzy.
I thought so, but I thought it's not pinned. I always thought it was pinned.
No, that one it was popular. I think it got like 300 to 400,000 views, but I didn't pin it because you can only pin like 3 videos. Oh wow, that sounds so wanky, doesn't it? Like, oh, so it didn't quite make the cut. What a dickhead!
Only
sorry.
pin. I know.
I have so many to pin.
It only had 400,000. I can't pin
Oh
it.
god. Yeah, I know I'm going to get humbled real quick though, so it's fine. That was one of the ones where I think I first used the ring light, and when I watched it back, I was like, eek. But yeah, that was
but
I know the lights are aggressive and I stress with them every time. I'm like this. No one should ever see their face this aggressively.
It's true. So we provided a list in the questions.
Feel free to choose one.
Yeah, just choose one.
I think I've got the list up,
and you know what? I'll hide. We can hide.
Well, I'm going to put up my browser with the questions. So I won't actually I won't see you. So it might help me not get like. I've never done it live before.
I think I still might have to hide.
It's definitely niche doing it live, but I quite like it. It's like just roll with it.
We had some of the voice actors from the graphic audio production on here.
Sick.
And so like we had them do something similar and I had to like duck underneath my desk. Like I just couldn't
I couldn't watch myself watch the actor speak.
Yeah, it's so weird when I like just doing the video with my like camera and it's like looking at myself. I'm like, this is just strange, but yeah, it's I feel like it would be rude not to do Cassian after the chat. But I need to try and think of the voice actually I do for him. I'm still learning about like how to switch it between the different people. Because I'm not actually a voice actor with experience or anything. It's just
not yet. And then all of a sudden you're going to take off and we'll be here. Be like, we remember when.
I think I remember how it was said in the audiobook.
Go ahead, Amy. You deliver that.
I can give you the inflection and then you can decide how to do it from there.
For it.
Come on. Come on. No, I can't take myself seriously. Come on, Feyre. We don't bite. Unless you ask us to.
Oof. Well, I'm all nervous myself now. Let me have a sip of a drink. I'm actually all...
Wait, you can't see us, right? We're hidden.
See, I put the script up.
All right.
I'm actually like really like, ooh. And I'm trying to, when was it? So the casting video I did was the headboard one, wasn't it?
Yeah. He's a confident fella.
He's very confident. Everything is double entendre, sexual innuendo, but he's deep down a really good guy.
I mean, he's not like, he's from surface to deep, always a very good guy. Like he is. He's my favorite. There he is. Yeah. He's like, just not an asshole. That's what I appreciate.
Okay, I'll go for it. Come on, Feyre. We don't bite unless you ask us to. Don't feel like that.
That was good.
That felt weird, but
no,
we did it off the cuff. We'll go for it. We'll lock it in.
You know what? I feel great about it. Okay. So that's what matters here. So
thank you.
You did us a kindness.
I'm shaking, but it's okay. We did it.
You did great.
I like how, thank you for throwing us into that. We did it. We all through this was a team effort.
I
Absolutely.
wouldn't have done it without the help there. So thank you very much.
Yeah. So the two of you, I contributed. Absolutely.
She did.
Well, thank you for your patience with us. Thank you for jumping on. I know it's always really strange and random to get a message from not even a human being. It just comes from it's just our logo for our podcast and being like, hey, how is it? How's it going? And aggressively encouraging you to be on the podcast. So thank you for joining.
Thank you for your time and your stories.
Thank you so much.
Now that we know you and have met you and you're a real human, I don't know if we can ever post the spicy chili emoji on any of the comments again because you're you. It's anyone who tags us on anything and anything spicy, be like, he is a lovely guy. All right,
he's a sweet baby boy.
No.
And thank you for joining, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been great.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this mini episode of Book Talk for Book Talk. We encourage you to rate and subscribe to our show on your preferred podcast listening platform.
We would love to hear your thoughts based on today's conversation. You can submit your comments to our form at booktalkforbooktalk.com or via our Camflare voicemail system. Please visit booktalkforbooktalk.com for more information.
You can also follow us on TikTok or Instagram at the handle Book Talk for Book Talk. Bye!
Fall has officially started here in Los Angeles, and that means we finally get to do fall activities.
I have been counting down the days for when I can go to pumpkin patches, maybe even hit up an apple orchard, and I get to do all of it looking super cute in my Quince boyfriend sweater.
This weather is perfect for my dark academia vibes, and I'm so excited to bust out my washable silk blouse because I'm going to be taking pictures.
Quince is known for their Mongolian cashmere sweaters from $50. And that's not all. Quince has so many other amazing things on their website.
All of those items are priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands.
That includes leather jackets, cotton cardigans, soft denim. My entire fall wardrobe is genuinely turning into Quince wardrobe.
By partnering directly with top factories and cutting out the cost of the middleman, we get savings as the customer.
One of my favorite parts about Quince is the fact that they only work with factories that use safe, ethical, and responsible manufacturing practices. And they still manage to get premium fabrics and finishes for that, luxury feeling for every item that they have.
Get cozy in Quince's high-quality wardrobe essentials. Go to quince.com/booktalk for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. That's Quince, QUINCE.com/booktalk, BOOKTALK, to get free shipping and 365-day returns. That's quince.com/booktalk.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds. At Mint Mobile, we like to do the opposite of what Big Wireless does. They charge you a lot, we charge you a little. So naturally, when they announced they'd be raising their prices due to inflation, we decided to deflate our prices due to not hating you. That's right. We're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month. Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.